All right, hey guys, I'm Josh Howard, physical therapist. Actually, I'm here hopefully just to help provide some guidelines, help in just the throwing mechanics for the youth. A little bit of my background. I'm originally from northern Wisconsin, Rhinelander. I went to UW La Crosse for my undergraduate, where I ended up with a degree in physics with a background in biomedical science. Went on to the PT program there, graduated in 2006. Ended up a few years after that, went back to school to get my doctorate in PT to help with some hands-on and sports-related things. And I ended up taking a lot more courses just going down the sports world with one of my passions, because I had played baseball through high school, college, the overhead athlete. I oversee our overhead athlete program, and I like it, but I started to see that there's a big trend in the fact that injuries keep happening. And actually, the more research we put in, it's great, but we're still seeing a rise of some of these injuries. So I wanted to do more and help prevent these injuries. So I get involved with a lot of throwing mechanics assessments, putting programs together to help cut down these injuries, both from the youth to high school to college to up. That actually led me to develop one of my side little businesses called the Athletic Science Institute, and that's allowed me to help more with some of this prevention stuff. So hopefully we're gonna give you a few more tips here to allow the kids to develop better throwing mechanics, cut down some injury rates, and really just be a better athlete on the field. A study actually done by Bone et al. Looked at just injury prevention rates and what's causing some of this stuff, or the prevalence with these issues. And they found that the age of 8 to 12, 20% of those kids will at some point have a shoulder, elbow, or arm issue during a season. So these kids, while they're not 8 yet, are not too far away. And then they found ages 13 to 14, 45% of those kids are going to develop some sort of shoulder, elbow issue during a baseball season. One of the things they looked at as a prevalence factor variable was poor throwing mechanics. And if we can start some of this stuff a little bit earlier, we're going to be able to help cut down some of those injuries down the road, and again, like I said, improve sports performance. So one of those things, throwing mechanics. Why we're going to do it, help cut it down. We're going to look at some simple stuff here today to hopefully help that first 15 minutes of try baseball develop an organized progression to allow those kids to develop a better pattern of throwing. And if we look at the throwing movement pattern, the legs are a big part. More often than not, we see a kid who, if he's stepping towards his target, he opens up a little bit too much, or he closes down, and that opening up puts a lot of stress on the shoulder or the elbow. So we're going to try to get things to happen naturally where we're coming forward and that arm's coming up. So we're going to work on 3 things. I'm going to show you them, and then I'm going to have my son show you how it kind of looks from the kid's standpoint. All right, so we're going to, again, develop a little bit more of a simplistic 15 minutes for you guys to utilize for your kids to develop better throwing mechanics before we start working on. Hopefully that'll develop more natural movement patterns to improve throwing mechanics. 2 terms that I want to get through first, just so we're kind of on the same page, is we're going to go using throwing arm side. So that would be, for me, my right arm is my throwing arm side, or my glove arm side. So for me, my left arm is my glove arm side, or my left leg is my left glove arm side leg. I know it gets confusing, but it just keeps things a little bit easier with the research that we look at. So the first drill we're going to have them do, it's called a kneeling chop pattern. So we're going to get our partners lined up front to back, and we want our glove arm side leg up and in line with our partner, and we want our throwing arm side leg down on a knee. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our ball and put it in our glove and keep our hands together. We're going to start with our glove up high above our ear, head, and then we're going to do a chopping motion to our glove arm side knee, coming down and back up to our throwing arm side head, and then back down, back up, back down, back up, and we're going to do 20 reps of these with our partner, and then we're going to stop. So now exercise, or phase 2, is going to be standing. And we're going to do 2 things in our standing phase, okay? We're going to get back in that, again, that same alignment with our partner. Our glove will be, again, our ball will be in our glove. And I want that glove arm side leg facing our partner, probably a little bit further than shoulder width apart. I'm going to have them start now up tall here, so throwing arm side. We're going to start high by our head, and then we're going to come down to our glove arm side knee, back up, back down. So again, we're doing that chop motion, but keep that ball in the glove. We're coming through 20 reps. Moving, we can lean forward a little bit, and after a little bit of this, we can start to coach the kids. But again, keeping it simple here, just getting that pattern, that movement down. So that's step 2, first standing exercise. Second standing exercise is we're gonna start high up, and this is called momentums. So now we're gonna keep this position here. We're not gonna move. Got our glove arm side leg forward. All we're gonna do is lift that glove arm side foot up and set it back down on that same footprint. We're gonna lift up, set it down, lift up, set it down. We're gonna do 20 reps with that, trying to again focus on keeping that foot, that leg, pointing at our partner. We don't want to step out to the side. We don't want to step forward. We want to try to set that foot back in the same footprint that we started. 20 of those, then that exercise is done. Okay, so now we're done with those first 2 phases. And phase 3 is basically adding those last 2 exercises together. The chop in standing plus the momentum in standing. So what we're gonna do, again, getting our partner, we're gonna line up that glove arm side leg towards our partner. Ball stays in the glove. We're gonna start down on that glove arm side knee. And as we come up, we're gonna lift that front leg or that glove arm side leg and come back down. So we're gonna come up, lift that glove arm side foot, back down, up, back down, trying to create a nice smooth fluid pattern. Up, down. We're gonna do 20 reps here again. Working on that technique, trying to set that glove arm side foot back down in that same footprint, working on that timing. After 20 reps there, now we've gone through the 3 phases. Now I want you to go back then and start working with the throwing. Again, if we can start to develop those reps, that movement pattern, that consistency, we should start to see some carryover into the throwing. And again, we're gonna have to do some coaching with the kids, especially during that throwing process. I know some of us like to then go back to the kneeling phase, and that's not a bad phase to go because you can get back into that same chop pattern. Now we're just playing catch with our partner here. After that, if you want, you can stand up doing that same thing. I like to teach, keep that ball in the glove when you're going to throw, because that naturally allows that elbow or that glove arm side elbow to come up as they break without having to coach it. Some kids like to keep the ball out here and then they don't get this arm ready and then they just throw. So keeping those 2 together, a lot of times on the field too, as we get a grounder, we're coming up, that ball's gonna be in the glove, so it helps promote that same pattern through. So after 3 phases, get into the throwing progressions with your athletes. After that, again, hopefully 15 minutes, it should be a sound, structured progression into practice starting. A lot of it is keeping it simple. We don't need to tell these kids a lot to get some movement patterns down. We just need them to learn it without complicating things. If there's any questions, I love talking about this stuff. Again, a lot of it's to help prevent injuries, make them throw a little bit better, more accurate, and again, allow them to enjoy it without getting frustrated. Tim has my number, contact info, reach out, I'll be around. Again, looking forward to the season.